Hello and welcome to the vintage champagne, the Tesco's finest range, the caviar of Arsenal podcast, that is the Guns and Yellow Ribbons preview show. Tonight I'm joined by, of course, my good mate Fergus and my equally good mate Dal. We're going to talk about what's coming up at the weekend. We're going to touch on the game against Palace, and then we're going to talk all about the Arsenal. So enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Trevor, good evening. Champagne, what was it, this one? I'm loving them. I'm absolutely loving them.
The caviar of Arsenal podcasts. Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast, yeah. Well, I've been Christmas shopping today. The missus has dragged me around the supermarket. It was horrendous, and we were buying loads of Tesco's finest range. And I thought, that sums up our podcast, really. Tesco's finest. Just like the Arsenal Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast. How you doing, Ferg?
Fair to middling. The wife is full of flu. I have been out and having a few beers after work with some friends post-Christmas spirit. So I'm a little bit, chatty.
God help us. You're chatty anyway, Ferg.
Yeah.
Now, have a chat yourself. It might be the last words you get in, mate. How you doing?
I'm all good, mate. All good. First day of annual leave today, and it's supposed to be relaxing, but it's been anything but. So, yeah, changed my name today from Dale to Mud. That's what we have with my wife. So
Mud. I hope that's finest mud, because we only have finest things on this show.
Finest mud on here tonight.
So listen, lads, it's been a busy week, isn't it? I was quite nervous about the League Cup tie against Palace. Ferg, I thought, Palace are coming to a bit of form. Then they go and score first, but after that, I thought we played quite well. And Ferg, what a great pleasure was it for Jesus? And I've been one of his biggest critics. I've said I didn't think it was good enough. I thought he was past it. How good was it to see Jesus ram my words and other people's right down our throats, mate?
Oh, he did, and he took about 3 feet and just shoved them straight down, didn't he? Like, I think you got maybe Nike, Puma, and maybe another Reebok football boot shoved down your throat with them, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Over the moon for the lad. Over the moon for the lad. Especially when I saw Palace had put a very decent defence out, I honestly thought that we would be struggling a bit, but he proved us wrong, Dal, didn't he?
He did indeed. And I think we've all known there's been a player in there. And I mean, I'm not going to sit and say I haven't critiqued him over the last 12 months or so, because I have. Over the moon for the lad. I mean, I'm not going to get above myself yet with him, in all honesty. I just, one of those goals in the Premier League gets ruled off because he was offside, but there's no VAR. But I'm not going to take it away from him. Deserved his moment in the limelight. So fair play to him.
3 good finishes as well. 3 really good, well taken goals. And to be honest with you, Arteta's put me in my place again, because when I saw the team, I thought to myself, wow, I wanted to see Nwaneri start, but he's thrown him in the deep end a bit there, putting him in with Sterling and Jesus, who have not been performing. So I felt a bit worried about Nwaneri. Then I thought, all right, so we'll go for strength in the midfield. And we had no Rice, and we had Partey playing at right back. So the midfield wasn't at its best. And then I thought, well, we've got to put in a strong defence then, surely, And we didn't have either of the best centre-backs in the world playing, did we, So I was a bit worried. I thought, oh, my lordy, this ain't looking good. But Ferg, he was right once again, wasn't he, Arteta? Or did he get lucky, Ferg?
I think he got a bit lucky. You look at the lineup. We had Raya, Partey, Timber, Kivior, Tierney, Jorginho, Marino, Nwaneri, Sterling, Trossard, and Jesus. It did feel, especially with Palace being full strength, and Palace were on a high after coming back after that away win at Brighton. it did feel that it was a little bit of a gamble. If that was like a week ago when Palace hadn't had that victory, I think it wouldn't have been an issue. But we did say on Monday night that could be a worry. I think it was a bit too much change. Kivior was caught out for the first one, which we know about. Tierney was okay. You could clearly see the difference in the change once we put on our substitutes at half time. Odegaard just made Jesus hum, and it was fantastic. You know what was good, though, Trevor? I watched Tottenham Man United last night, and, well, I found our first half very boring, and I actually have to admit I fell asleep just towards the end of the first half and woke up just before the second half because it was really, really, really just like, just not interesting to watch. But I tell you what, that Tottenham Man United game in the first half was awful. The atmosphere was dreadful. The away fans were poor. The home fans were even poorer. And we had the Palace fans. I've got a clip of them. They didn't half make some noise, Trev. You're on mute, mate.
Go again. Here we go again. They did. When they scored early, they made a lot of noise in that lower team. Yeah.
It's great in those cup games, though, isn't it? It really is good in those cup games when you get that sort of atmosphere.
They were having a proper party, Ferg. But they quietened right down after we scored. I think they knew that the inevitable was coming. But while they were ahead, they were fantastic. I'll tell you what, Dale, just before a couple of more points before we move on to the first game of the weekend. I was over the moon to see Tierney back, and I think he sort of proved that there is space for him in the side, Dale. I thought he did all right. For his first game for ages, I thought he did all right.
Yeah, I agree. I've always been a fan of Tierney, but I think we've said from a long time ago now that I think it's quite clear he's not part of Arteta's plans. And I think he's been told already they're not going to renew his contract and he can leave in the summer. I think he's linked back with going to Celtic, actually, which I'd love to see the lad go on and have a great career. I really would. He's been blighted by injuries. I've always liked him. He seems to be good amongst the players as well. They all speak really highly of him. I think they call him Tesco, don't they? Because they said he's really down to earth. They're all rocket with his big, fancy Balenciaga bags and stuff, and he's got his Tesco bag with his boots in. But I thought he had a great game. There was a lot of speculation, like why he went off. I think he's just tired. Like you say, it's his first game in God knows how long. So really, really pleased for the chap. Really pleased for him.
When he went off, I was really worried that he might have been injured, but thankfully he wasn't. But I don't know if you boys noticed the way that when he went off, he stood just for a second and waved all around the ground. And it was almost like he was thinking, this is it now. I'm saying goodbye. And I know if he doesn't fit Arteta's plans, he doesn't fit Arteta's style of play. That's it. Because I'm an Arsenal fan. So we go with what Arteta chooses. But I'm really sad to see Tierney if he moves on because he was the start of it all. He was the one that came in and lifted the spirits along with, Tierney, Ramsdale. They came in and lifted the fans, lifted the spirits, just seemed to raise the tempo and the emotions in the team. And I'll be forever grateful to Tierney. Actually, I just wish that he hadn't been injured so often because he's never let us down. I see Demsek's in the chat. I had a couple of beers with Kev before the Palace game. It was a great night. Met up with Kev and Mike, and we had a few, and it was a good evening. So, Ferg, listen, just before we move on to these next games, what do you think about this ticketing fiasco is it a fiasco for the Man United game at the Arsenal, mate?
I don't think it's necessarily a fiasco. I just think it's very poor how long they've taken to come back and let fans know. We had it in some of our WhatsApp groups, like people going, anybody know, when the ticket, what's going on, when the ticket news, when are they going to take the money? We've all got paid or are due to get paid for Christmas. You got money. I know we didn't know if it was going to be Cat A, Cat B, Cat C. Not a clue. And I think, as well as that, if you think about it from Man United fans, fortunate enough, most of them are in and around the M25. But for the few that do travel from the northwest down, they had to make arrangements, for early January to come down here. So those 15 fans would be looking for trains, Yeah.
You see, to be honest with you, Ferg, there's plenty of Arsenal fans in that situation. I saw a young lady posted on social media tonight that I think I'm not sure if this is the exact timescales, but they find out if they're successful in the ballot for the Man United game 5 days before the game. This young lady lives abroad and she has to book flights, for games and accommodation. And for me, I'm hoping that the reason this took so long is that the Arsenal were holding out to say, no, you're not going to get all these seats in the lower tier. And I'm hoping that the Arsenal have had their arm twisted and had to give them this 8,000 or 9,000, whatever it is, lower tier seats. Because for me, it absolutely stinks. If the Man United fans won't behave themselves in the upper tier, don't move them to the lower tier. Just don't give them the seats. I mean, how many seats do we or any other visiting club get at any time at Old Trafford pitchside? Zero. None.
For visiting fans at the Emirates, the minimum requirement or the maximum requirement that we have to give in the League Cup is 10%, which would be 6,000. To give them 6,000,
it's FA Cup.
15,000 for the FA 15% for the FA Cup, 10% for the League Cup, and I think it's about 4,000 for the league. So giving them that whole clock end lower doesn't quite give them the 6,000, but then because they're going to give the upper tier, they end up giving more. And there was talk of up to 8,000, but they couldn't control whether Arsenal wanted to barricade off the first 5 or 6 rows because of persistent standing, and hence why the delay. And it was down to Man United arguing over it and so on. So
and I didn't talk to John Williamson. People know John Williamson. He's a top Arsenal fan. Another problem with the upper tier, I've been told, is that there's no separate entrances for the upper and lower tiers at the Emirates. So if they've got away fans in the upper tier, they've had massive problems with half of them coming down and going in the lower tier anyway and overcrowding the lower tier. But I'm still of the opinion that they give us nothing pitchside at their ground, not under any circumstances for any reason, right? So if the reason they're not going in the upper tier is because they misbehave and won't sit down and it make it dangerous up there, then that's their doing, not the Arsenal's doing. That's their issue, not the Arsenal's issue. So we should just say, no, obviously we can't. So that's where we are. We're going to have a battle on our hands at fans in that game because they're going to have like a third of the lower tier and it's going to be hard work.
Before you go on to doing the preview of the games, Arteta's 5 years in the role today. And I know we touched on it last week, but I don't think Dale was in the conversation. Scores out of 10 for his first 5 years?
Dale?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know if you put me on the spot there, but I'd probably go with. I look at there was a video. I don't know if you guys have seen it, right? And I'm not a fan of the guy at all. It was going around in our WhatsApp groups, and I wholeheartedly agreed with him. The guy, the Man United,
Mark Goldbridge, yeah,
Mark Goldbridge. He nailed it in my opinion. I think it was you who shared it, Trev, actually. And he was saying, he said, let's not forget. He's got a lot of time for Arsenal, regardless of what people think of him, and he speaks a lot of sense. And he said, let's not forget where Arsenal were when Mikel Arteta took over. We were in the mud, right? We had a bang average squad with a couple of decent players, maybe put us in false positions at times. We were 8th 2 years running, which we expect better. And he has picked us up. A lot of people wanted, and me included, a lot of people expect silverware because we're the Arsenal, right? We should be winning in silverware more frequently, in my opinion. But we are now competing on a regular basis for silverware. We're in a semi-final League Cup. We're still in the FA Cup. We're pushing for the title, albeit a little bit behind at the moment. So I agree with Goldbridge, and I would say we have massively improved. I'd like to start seeing some more silverware. So if I had to give him a score, I'd probably go 7.5 to 8. I think that's probably where I'd say over the last 5 years. He has improved us massively, but to take it up a level, we need that kind of little bit more.
Yeah. See, Ferg, I don't do that. I don't give scores out of 10. Don't like it. Won't do it. But I'm not bothered because I know we're going to win something this year. You know what I mean? We'll win something this year. I'm confident we will win something. And then for me, it's an all singing, all dancing hero, you know, and that'll do for me. Ferg, are we winning anything this year?
I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I'm with Dale on 7.5. I love what he's done and how he's changed the club, the squad, the first team squad in particular. I do think that some of his tactical changes surprise me at times. The latest example I can give you is when we're against such a defensive Everton, and he puts Partey on right back, and he does like-for-like changes when we could easily have gone attacking. I think he's made some very difficult decisions in the sense of Ozil, Aubameyang, etc. I think he's strengthened well the squad, and I believe you are right in strengthening your defence as a basis, which is what George Graham done and Wenger inherited. But I do think recently not having a backup for Odegaard showed some weakness. We all talk about a striker, and I do think although Sterling was an experiment that could be fantastic and might well be. I don't think it's going to work out as good as we thought. We need somebody to push Saka. But are we going to win something this year? I think we might win one of the trophies, the FA Cup or the League Cup. We're in the semi-final League Cup against Newcastle. There's no reason why we shouldn't get to the final. And Liverpool are Spurs in the final. There's no reason why we shouldn't beat one of them. So we could win a cup. But the major trophies, as in the Champions League or the Premier League, I think might just evade us this season. And next season, I think we will be there or thereabouts.
You see, Ferg, I'm a bit superstitious, right? So last week I said that Jesus was past it was gone. And he's come back and proved me wrong. So this week I'm going to say that Sterling fella shouldn't even be on the field for Arsenal. Can't kick a ball, right? Can't kick a ball. Won't score a goal all season, right? Runs up his own backside all game and should never be on the field. And cross me fingers, right? Because that's how it is. Very important point you made, Fer. We must move on, though. We must move on. When Arteta came into the Arsenal, I reckon he must have had meetings with the board and the senior management team before he came in, right? Because he managed to move Ozil out of the club, right? Who had been frustrating us for a couple of seasons and who beat Emery. Emery dropped Ozil when he came in, but wasn't allowed to keep him dropped and had to bring him back. He sorted Aubameyang out. He's really, we think sometimes I look at Arteta and I think you're a bit of a soft one, you are, lad. But then you look back and you think, no, actually, he's done some stuff that takes balls, So hopefully, when we win that trophy this year, it'll all be good, and Sterling will be rubbish. He won't play again all season because he can't kick a ball. But anyway, listen, boys, we've got to move on, right? Because we've got to keep this to an hour if we can. Villa v Manchester City, right? So Villa have just gone below where I thought they'd be this season. Not quite at the levels I thought they'd be. Man City, bang average mid-table side, been on a bag run of form. Can't win a game for Toffee. One in about the last 10, is it? I don't know. Surely Man City can't win a Villa, can they, Dal?
It's one of those things, right? We say Villa aren't at the level we expect them to be. They're fifth in the Champions League, right? Let's not forget that. They were always going to struggle, in my opinion, with not struggle as such, but having European football back at Villa Park for the first time in a long, long time. And obviously the expectation of their performances in the Premier League. I think they're performing probably as expected, if I'm honest. I don't think they're underperforming. I really don't. I think they're probably, their board are probably delighted where they are. I think Emery's taken in the right direction. I think they've got a hell of a player in Duran, and I would love to see someone like that at the Arsenal. He's a great player, but I don't know. It's a really tough one to call this, because I don't think anybody would be surprised if Villa won or if City won. It's one of those games where I think they're both capable of winning it. And if you'd have said that 2 years ago, everybody would have said, no, City are going to wipe the floor with them. And if Villa got a point out of it, people would be surprised. I don't think that's the case this time. I really don't. I find this one a tough one to call. I really do.
Go on then, Del.
I can't remember what my prediction was on this. What was prediction? I think I went. Oh no, I think I've gone for a Villa win. I have gone for a Villa win. I've gone for a Villa narrow win, and that's only because there's a lot going on at City at the minute. They don't seem to be playing together like they should do. There's lots of rumours behind the scenes, which I won't go into. But I think Villa are looking to get that big scalp again. Right, these big scalps are what Villa live for. Villa Park, when they play the big teams, is absolutely rocking. So I'm going for a Villa 2-1 win.
2-1 to Villa. So, Ferg, listen, Guardiola, after the game, will he be kissing and cuddling his players, or will he be trying to scalp himself again? What do you reckon, mate?
Don't know. He might go after the physio. Who knows? You know.
Easy, Tiger. Please note for the benefit of the records that
listen, it's all about club camaraderie, isn't it? That's what it's all about. That's what I'm talking about. You know, like it depends. Like Villa won this exact fixture 1-0 last season, but they haven't won consecutive wins against Man City since April 1993. Man City have lost 5 of the last 7 Premier League games. They've lost 8 out of the last 11.
Oh dear.
Dale said to us there a minute ago that 2 years ago you wouldn't have expected this. 2 weeks ago you wouldn't have expected it. 2 months ago you wouldn't have expected it. 2 weeks ago you would have. 2 months ago, yeah, you would have thought, yeah, it's City all the way through. I don't think Villa have enough to beat City, especially since they haven't played midweek. Both teams haven't played midweek. I'm going for a 2-2.
A draw. Right, listen. Let's look at this sensibly, right? City can't win a game for toffee. Villa at home, as Dale rightly said, the crowd's a 12th man when they lift Villa at home. Villa are going to absolutely trounce Man City. They're going to beat them 3-0, at least 3-0. I'm going to put for a 3-0 win for Villa, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's even more. Pep's troubles will grow. They ain't winning this game this week. Listen, I just see a couple of you are putting your predictions in the chat. That's wonderful. Love that. We'll keep putting them on the screen. If anybody join in, put your predictions on the screen. And if you've got a view on what our result might go in a game, get that up there as well. Thank you very much for that. Right, the next one, right? Brentford v Forest. Brentford, yeah. Thomas Franks, top man. Forest, I think they seem to be just moving up a gear, Ferg. What do you reckon, mate?
Well, Brentford have won the last 5 Premier League home games and netting 3 goals, at least 3 goals each time, 20 goals in total. I can't see Forest, whilst Forest have improved vastly from where they were last season, which they've done well to survive. And, you know, they established themselves in the Premier League. They need a couple more seasons to be the Brightons and Brentfords that we have now. But I'm going 3-0 for Brentford.
Ferg's gone for a Brentford comfortable win. Is it going to be that comfortable, Dale?
I don't think it'll be that comfortable, but I do agree with him in the fact Brentford will win. I'm torn on this one because I think if you reverse the fixture, I'd give Forest a lot more of a chance. But I think at home, Brentford are a different animal. I think if this was at Forest, I think there'd be a lot. I'd probably go for a Forest win, in all honesty with you. But Thomas Frank seems to got them, as you mentioned, Ferg. Like they're a force to be reckoned with at home. They really are. I'm going to go for a Brentford win. I don't think it'll be comfortable because I do think Forest, as you rightly say, Trev, have gone up a gear. I think they're certainly capable of a performance, and they should be aiming for a top 10 finish in the Premier League. In all honesty, which for a team that was fighting relegation beforehand is a hell of an achievement. So I'm going to go for a Brentford win, but I'm going to go 2-1. Not as comfortable.
Yeah, I think they're going to be. I think Forest is going to be one of these teams that improve as the season goes on. You know, I think they're going to grow into the season. I just see this. You put this comment up, Ferg. Must tell you, people, if you do follow my predictions, Henty may be leading you astray. You're not likely to win at all. You know, I've had one big win, and the rest have been shot down in flames. So if you do back my predictions, blame Henty, not me. It's Henty.
As I say in the adverts, bet responsibly.
That was the first game of the season, was it, Trev? I think you won big on a fiver in the first game of the season.
No, do you know what, Dal? It's our time passes with last season, mate. Last season when we played Burnley away, yeah.
Wow, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Anyway, listen, boys, Brentford v Forest. I think Forest are a team that are improving. I think that they really are coming on, but I still think Brentford are a strong team at home. So I'm going with the boys. I'm going for a Brentford win by an odd goal. 2-1 maybe to Brentford. Right, the next one, right? Ipswich and Newcastle, right? Ipswich and Newcastle. I've developed, for some reason, I'm developing a bit of a soft spot for Ipswich this season. I don't know why I am. I think it's because you can see that they've got players that are probably not quite good enough for the Premier League, but they're giving it their all. They're really getting stuck in there, Ipswich. And I've got a right soft spot for them. I really have. Can they beat Newcastle, Ferg?
I don't know. I think Newcastle might be just that bit too good for them. Newcastle have lost just one of their 8 Premier League meetings against Ipswich, winning 4 and drawn 3, going down 1-0 at Portman Road in 2001. It's the first time they're meeting since 2017. I don't know. I just think Newcastle, if they can get Isak firing properly, if they get Gordon working properly, they will score goals. And I think they'll get a couple of goals. But I think the passion of Portman Road and the passion of how Ipswich are playing, they will get a goal. And I've gone 2-1 to Newcastle, an away win.
I think you're still on mute there, Trev.
I'm trying to multitask and it's hard work. Look, so Ferg's gone for Newcastle. Dal, I'm just going to stick my 2 penny in here now because I think the Ipswich are going to come good against Newcastle. And I fancy Ipswich to nick a little 1-0 win. I just think it's their turn. It's their turn. Newcastle on their day away from home can be poor. Can be poor. They can be good, of course, like all teams. But I think they're going to be poor. And I think Ipswich are going to nick a win. So Ferg's gone Newcastle. I've gone Ipswich. Obviously, Dal, you're going to agree with me, mate, aren't you?
I'm actually going to agree with Demsek. If we can bring Demsek's comment up in the chat there, I think he nails it, if I'm honest with you. I think this absolutely is, in one sentence, this is, for me, is exactly what it is. Newcastle win, Ipswich ain't good enough. And I've got to agree with that. I don't know. Ipswich are one of those teams where I think they are doomed. I think they're going to go down. I'm not fussed either way. No thoughts either way towards Ipswich. I think Newcastle are capable of a performance. I really do. And like you say, I just think they've got that bit extra over them. So I'm going to agree with Dempsey and Ferg on this one. Sorry, Trev. And I'm going to go with a 2-1 away win.
So just remember, people, when Ipswich win tomorrow, the man in the middle, right? The man in the middle got it right, you know.
I haven't got Michael Jackson's song lined up, by the way.
Not bad.
Yeah.
West Ham v Brighton. West Ham v Brighton. I know who Ferg's going to go for because he can't let his mates down in the boozy, you know.
It's true.
Never forgive him, would he?
I thought about this today. As soon as I think about West Ham playing at home, I think about that horrible stadium that they're all going to have to go to. I do genuinely feel sorry for West Ham. I can't split them, I can't make up my mind who's going to win this, Dal.
It's a tough one. And I think, is it Lopetegui, whatever his name is? He's one of those managers, he knows he's clinging on to his job, literally game by game. I don't know what the fans think of Lopetegui. I do feel sorry for the guy. Shaking his head, it doesn't seem like a lot of fans think much of him, but I think he's going to keep going. I can't see him sacking him before Christmas, and I can see him getting a result. I think it's going to be a narrow win, but I'm going to go for a cheeky little West Ham 2-1 home win.
West Ham. Ferg, he's gone for your boys. He's gone for your second team.
That's not my second team, but I've always had a bit like you with Everton. I've always had a little bit of a soft spot with West Ham. Look, they picked up 10 points in the last 5 home games at the London Stadium, which is better than the previous 11 games at that stadium. I think they are turning the corner. Lopetegui has taken some risks. They changed from a very pragmatic side under Moyes to a side that's trying to play a bit more football. Yes, they've lost Antonio, sadly, but I don't think that's really a bad thing. They've got Bowen, who's a great player. And I can see it being a bit of a goal fest because Brighton are a decent side. And I've gone 3-2 West Ham.
I knew you'd go on and on and on and spout and then go West Ham. I knew what was going. I've already written it down here. Ferg's gone for West Ham.
You called it, mate. You called it. I'll give you that one.
Listen, right, Everton, Chelsea. I've got a soft spot for the Everton. Now, I've just seen the stats, Ferg, and I know that's your ground, but what I didn't realise was in the last 6 times Everton have played Chelsea at Goodison, Everton have won 5, and for me, this is the day that Everton do us a favour, make it 6 out of 7 and beat Chelsea, Ferg. Can it happen?
They've had 4 draws in the Premier League so far, 0-0 draws, more than any other side. I think they're improving. But Chelsea for me, somebody asked me last weekend, are we going to win the league? And I said, I don't know. I don't think so. What, is it going to be Liverpool? I said, no, I think you've got a danger side in Chelsea. And I think Everton being a difficult place to go away. Remember, every game is a party up there. It's the last game. They've just got the new owners in. Even with that, I think Chelsea are just going to be that much too good. And I think it's going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
First gone Chelsea. I've gone Everton. Dow's gone.
I've got to go against you again here, Trev. I'm sorry, mate. But I've got to agree with Ferg. It's that's twice I've agreed with. That's 5 minutes. I just think Chelsea got a bit too much for years. We've been saying for years, right? What was it? Everton have won 4 out of the last 6. Let's face it, Chelsea, the last few seasons have been garbage, right? And we've been saying sooner or later they've got to come good. They've spent £1 billion and they're starting to click. They're scoring goals. They look like they're playing, and they've got players to come off the bench as well because they've got that bigger squad. Everton at home, though, are no pushovers, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'd love an Everton win. Don't get me wrong. On that part, Trev, I'm with you. I'd love an Everton win. But unfortunately, I've got to go with Chelsea on this one. I've gone for a Chelsea 2-1 win.
Dal, I know you've got to go in a minute, mate. I do apologise. So, Ferg, I'll come back to you on this, right? A home game against Chelsea. Do Everton go for a point like they did at our place because they know Chelsea are good? Or are they actually going to play some football?
I think they'll
play football, but they'll play that negative football that they do, but it won't be as negative as we saw. I think they'll have to do a combination of. They have the home fans, home support. But you know what Pickford will do? If they get 1-0, they get a set piece goal, and 50% of their goals come from set pieces. We said last week, or over 50%. They get one of those early on. That's it. Chelsea are screwed.
Yeah. So hopefully, I want Everton to beat Chelsea. Obviously, for more reasons.
Matt's just said the exact same. If Everton get the first goal, probably from a corner, and then they'll lock up. Otherwise, they're toast. And I do think they'll probably will be toast.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong. But
for all of us,
for the benefit of us in the main, Fulham v Southampton, right? My God, Southampton are bad, aren't they? I mean, they couldn't even come back when they went 4-0 down against Tottenham. Come on. Any team that goes 4-0 down against Tottenham normally comes back and gets something out of the game. But Fulham, Southampton. Fulham's my banker of the week, Dal.
Yeah, I've got to agree on this, Trev. I just think sooner or later, Southampton they're gonna concede and go, you know what, we're down. I don't think there's any chance of them staying up the season. So I think they're going to start attacking people because they've got nothing to lose. If they start attacking people, this is going to be one of those games they're going to look at and go, this is one of the ones we can maybe get something out of. But I don't give them a chance in hell. I don't even think they'll score, truth be told. You say about soft spots for a few teams. At the minute, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Fulham, but there's a few old Arsenal boys there, and that's probably why. I think no other reason for it except that. So for me, it's a routine, comfortable victory. I'd be surprised if it was anything but a Fulham win. Clean sheet for Fulham as well. I'm going for a 2-0 home win to Fulham.
Right. Come on in, Ferg. Tell me Southampton have got a chance, mate.
Not on your Nelly. Fewer points away from home in the Premier League. They've had 1 point away from home. Fulham failed to score in their opening game of the Premier League, but they've scored in every game since the last 15 games. So, they've had the longest scoring streak ever for Fulham. Fulham are a good side. Arsenal B when they're at home, Arsenal D when they're away, as Dan used to say. I've gone for another drubbing, and thankfully this guy isn't in goal at the minute because he's injured, but it's going to be 4-0 Fulham.
Yeah. I get it. I get both of you boys, what you said about that. I feel ever so sorry for Ramsdale because he's been relegated a few times. Then he comes to Arsenal and he turns into a very reliable goalkeeper, competent goalkeeper. And you're thinking, right, he's settled down now. And now he's had to go back to a relegation fight again. I don't think he'll be at Southampton next season, boys. I really don't. I think he's a keeper of the quality that deserves to be playing for a good team in the Premier League. I really do think Ramsdale is, and hopefully one day he will be. You know, so right, listen, Leicester v Wolves. Leicester v Wolves. Leicester v Wolves. As long as I could say all day long, Leicester v Wolves, Leicester v Wolves. And I can't get excited about it. I can't lift my voice or think this game is going to interest me in any way. Dal, I've gone for a board draw. 1-1.
I'll match you score for score in this. I've gone exactly the same 1-1. It just screams out a draw, doesn't it? Just screams out. Neither team can play attractive football. I think both will be lucky to, well, not lucky. I think both have got one eye on the relegation zone this year. I really do, and I can't see much from either of them. I'm going to agree 100% on the one away.
Ferg, is there going to be a winner, son?
Not at the King Power Stadium. They've only scored 7 goals between them in the last 6 meetings. They're both pretty woeful. Yes, Van Nistelrooy has taken over at Leicester and he lost his first away game and he's done okay. Wolves, whilst on paper, and football's not played on paper, as they say, but whilst on paper, they've got some great players. There's just something not working right there. I've gone from 0-0. I couldn't call it. Really couldn't call it. I just went 0-0.
3 draws.
Dale,
3 draws.
Dale,
sorry, go on, Ferg.
I was just going to say, Dale, when you're good, you let us know when you carry on till when you're ready.
Yeah. I've got a few minutes yet, guys. I do have to drop off early. I've got a lot of people downstairs and family and stuff as well. So close to Christmas, but I'll go another one. I'll go one more.
Okay, one more. Man United, boys, against Bournemouth, right? Now, I thought that last night's Carabao Cup quarter-final between Tottenham and Man United was of the lowest standard of football I've seen for a long time. The skill levels were zero. I'm not going to even give him airtime, but you've got a commentator, a critic on the TV saying that he thinks Tottenham are the most exciting team in the Premier League. I can only think that he says that they're exciting because anything could happen, not because they're highly skilled and they're going to play off the scale, because anything could happen with Tottenham. I listened to Postecoglou's interview last night, and he's thinking he's turned the corner. He's thinking he's turned the corner with a 4-3 win over a Man United side that were horrendous, and 2 goalkeepers, right? And I saw this quote on social media, so I've nicked it off of there. Then 2 goalkeepers could have been playing for the Dog and Duck v the Pig and Whistle on a Sunday morning, couldn't they? I mean, they were that bad. The football was terrible. I think Man United are going to go to Bournemouth and take a win down. Excuse me. Bournemouth are going to go to Man United and win. What's the matter with me? Bournemouth are going to go to Man United and turn them over, mate, I reckon.
I don't know. It's one of those ones where I like what the new guy at United's done. He's come in and he's not afraid to make big changes. He's done what Arteta did at us. He made some big calls early on. He's taken Rashford out of the team. He's basically playing saying, if you don't want to play football, you're at the wrong club. But he's not afraid to make those big calls. I do think they've got a talent in that Amad Diallo. I think he's a great player. I think at home, we've seen it in the last couple of games with United. They do pick up a little bit. That crowd kind of is getting behind the new manager. How long that lasts, I don't know. I really don't know. But Bournemouth at home, I think, are a different kettle of fish. I think Bournemouth at home are capable of beating anybody. But I think Bournemouth away from home, they're not the same side. I don't think that in the slightest. So I'm actually going to go for, sadly, against everything that I stand for, I'm going to go for a Man United win here. And I'm going to put a few goals behind it as well. I think Man United will score 3. So I'm going to go 3 for Man United to Bournemouth's 1 against everything I stand for.
No, Dal, I can see it. It could go that way, but it could go anyway. I mean, I just can't see or make a case for seeing a pattern to the game. I mean, Man United, their defence last night, was dire. It's dire. And
Awful.
who's that fiery little lad who's about 5'4", walks
The
around
centre-back.
like he's carrying 2 carpets. I mean, he seems all right with the ball at his feet, but anything off the ground, and you're thinking, oh my God, it's not that's not Premier League football. So I think Bournemouth are going to go there and win, Ferg. Dal thinks that Man United will rally a bit, and I can see the case for that and beat Bournemouth. I suppose you're going for a draw, mate, are you?
I have gone for a Desmond, but I do hope that Man United lose because I can just wind my brothers up that they'll be in the bottom half of the season, bottom half of the league at Christmas. They'll be end up 12th. Bournemouth have done quite well. It's really difficult to call the game. Yeah, I've gone 2-2. And
Ferg, listen, son, right? We come on here and we talk a load of crap most of the time, but we try and make it about the football and we talk a bit about the Arsenal. We can't come on here and saying we want Man United to lose because I want to take the mickey out of my brothers. That's for a WhatsApp chat. You know what I mean?
No. I'm open to come along and slag off my brothers.
Get on Fergus's predictions because he thinks that Man United are going to lose because he'll upset his brothers.
Well, I've gone 2-2, Trevor. I've gone 2-2.
I love it, Ferg, mate. I love it. Listen, I just see Sophie's in the chat. Sophie, thank you very much for your kind words.
She's going to join us in a second, Trev, but without a camera because it's early in LA, and I think she's still in a onesie or whatever. So yeah,
she ain't got a lippy on, has she? You know what I mean? She's not got a lippy on. So listen, right? Let's just talk about this last game quickly, right? And Sophie, if you want to come in, just say hello, and we'll let you in, sweetheart. The last game, right? We're going to talk about Tottenham v Liverpool, right? Tottenham at home to Liverpool.
So Sophie's in audio only at the minute, so she can hear it and join in.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll bring Sophie in a second. Tottenham v Liverpool. I cannot see, after what I've seen this week from Tottenham, right? They've got absolutely no chance of beating Liverpool, even though the game's at Crap Hart Lane, you know. No way are they going to beat Liverpool, Tottenham. They don't have the quality, they don't have the consistency, and they don't have the coach to set them up right. The coach will set them up like every other week, and it's not going to be right against Liverpool. Liverpool are going to do them 3-0. Liverpool are going to beat Tottenham at least 3-0 this weekend. Dow.
I am with you that Liverpool are going to score 3 goals here. I really am. I think that Liverpool attacking lineup against that god-awful Tottenham defence is just a disaster class waiting to happen. They play such a high line. The likes of Salah, even Nunes will be licking their lips playing that back line with all the injuries they got in particular as well. I can't see any other result apart from a Liverpool win here. It's one of those ones you're split, aren't you? We ideally need Liverpool to drop points, but we definitely don't want Tottenham to pick up points. So that being said,
once in your life, Dow, you talk sense.
Thank you very much, Trev. I'll take that as a compliment. So, but I think my Christmas present to them lot is they'll score a goal, but they'll concede 3. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Liverpool win.
That'll do for me. Ferg, quickly give us what you think, mate. Then we'll bring Sophie in.
4-0 Liverpool.
4-0 Liverpool. Lovely.
And good luck. Enjoy tonight. I'll let you out of here now, yeah?
Yeah, guys, I just want to say before I drop off, just thanks for this year. It's been a great year for both the pod and the Arsenal as well. For all those that listen in, guys, a massive thank you. I mean, you're listening to 3 fat guys with beards tonight talk about football and our great club. But the show is nothing without you guys. So a massive thank you to everybody who listens. Just want to say very Merry Christmas to you all. Enjoy some downtime with your friends and family. Here's to the Arsenal and up to a 2025. On that note, I'll leave you to it, guys, in the capable hands of Ferg, Trev, and Sophie.
Cheers, Dal. Merry Christmas to you and your all, mate.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, mate. See you later. Cheers, bye.
Right. Here we go.
Sophie!
Sophie, can you hear me?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Oh,
we
cool.
can.
We can.
Hopefully the audio is okay.
On the show. How are you doing, Soph?
I'm doing good. I was enjoying listening to the show, and then Fergus lobbed me a note, and I'm comfortably sitting by my tree with Vinny and Vesper in my new onesie, and I was listening to the show as I always do, your Monday show, and it's been an emotional year as it is. And when I heard Trev speaking from his heart, I was so choked up, and I've been meaning to message Trev to let him know how that made me feel. And I just think it's so important that as fans, we have these moments where we talk from the heart and we're honest. And as much as we love our club, we can laud them, we can criticize them, all at the same time, and still have that passion and that undeniable love. And I just wanted to say that I kind of have felt that way too sometimes, in that, as much as I love Arsenal and I get along with people there, they don't market to Generation X or baby boomers anymore. We're not the audience. And sometimes I feel like our generation are the forgotten fans. And I do hope that the issue is resolved. But someone like Trev, who I'm looking forward to having on the show for a new show called Anecdote. And I know someone that Super Kev loved and adored. He loved and adored both of you. He always respected Trev's history and knowledge of the club. And when you talk to Trev, he can pinpoint moments, and the anecdotes that he has, the knowledge and the memories are invaluable to Arsenal fan history. And I just think it's really important that we take care of fans like Trev, and that fans like Trev are held up on a pedestal, if I may say, because you just can't get that generational knowledge. And he's lived through so many eras, good, bad, euphoric. He's hit the highs and the lows. And I just wanted to say that in the midst of all the YouTube madness sometimes, where people are screaming and yelling at each other, that shows like Guns and Yellow Ribbons are so important to the community. And I always love watching you guys. You've been so supportive this year, and you're flying the flag everywhere you go with Super Kev. And I just wanted to say thank you. Not only thank you from an Arsenal fan perspective, but thank you from a personal perspective as well.
Do you know what, Sophie? I was doing all right tonight now, and now you've reduced me again. I'm truly humbled, Sophie. I think that you're right in what you say. We led by Fergus, right? I know I present this show, but led by Fergus. We don't cross a line on this podcast. We're very respectful of the Arsenal Football Club and its history. But sometimes we have to say things like I had to say, on Monday. It was hard for me to say. But do you know what, Sophie? I honestly feel like when I do this podcast, I'm in a safe place. I feel like I'm in a safe place. Our viewers are wonderful. Our people are wonderful. People like you just talk to me and make me feel $1 million. And for that, I am truly grateful, Sophie. And don't worry about the Kevin Campbell flag. That will be flown at full mast until the end of the season. Ferg?
Yeah, Sophie, as you know, amongst the community of podcasters, we all get on really well, those Arsenal podcasters. Mm-hmm. But before the show, and you'll have conversations with Tom or Dan and various other peoples beforehand. I had a conversation with Trev before Monday, and he was fuming. He was spitting nails, feathers, bricks, everything. He went, I can't go on. I'm going to be in such trouble if I get on. And I went, no, just calm down. You're going to say what you're going to say, but you're going to do it in the way we do it. And he did. He was absolutely classic Trevor, classic Arsenal. And as you say, Super Kev would have loved every word that Trevor said. Mm-hmm. It's great that you've joined us here to say this, say what you've said, and it's great that you're joining our show. You've had a tough year, not just with Kev, with other stuff as well that I know and and it's been great being a friend of yours. But it's been very painful to watch a tough time that you've had, and I'm just glad that we've been here as part of the Arsenal community to try and help and support you along the way.
Yeah, it's been you both have been just beautiful and always checking on me on WhatsApp and as I said, Super Kev was a huge fan of you guys, and he was also supportive of the podcast community. I think the only Arsenal player, not only Arsenal player, but player out there who really adopted and understood the importance of YouTube and what fans bring to the table and how fans want to listen to fellow fans about their club. And it was great that we were able to have those shows together with Super Kev as well. And you're right, you know, I lost my mum, I lost Kev, my partner hasn't been well, and it's been a really tough year. But thanks to friends like you, you've really helped keep me going. The squaddies have helped keep me going, and the community at large has helped with that as well. So I just wanted to say thank you and keep Guns and Yellow Ribbons flying. I love watching you guys from afar, and I'm hopefully going to be in the UK for some games in late January, February, where I know we'll get together, have a hug and have a pint, and those pints will be on me. But I also think it's important.
Trevor will definitely be there then.
that your show, you know, there's this whole YouTube thing going on, but there are shows that are just so important. And I truly believe that yours is one. So keep doing what you're doing. You know, Alex, you know, Dan and his voice and his chants and his singing. And I love seeing the pictures from, you know, Lower North Bank and you guys. And it's a legacy that will remain, and one that we'll keep championing on Highbury Squad as well. So thank you. I just wanted to pop in and say love you guys and thank you so much. And I wish you both the best Christmas, a happy and healthy one, and a happy new year, and hopefully a new year that's full of adventures personally and for us Arsenal fans as well.
Thank you, Sophie. Merry Christmas to you, to Tony, and the dogs, everything else. Have a wonderful new year. A happier, healthier one. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Love you guys. Take care.
Take care, Sophie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Take care.
Well, that was lovely, wasn't it, Trev?
Oh, she's done me now, isn't she? Come on. She's properly done me. You know, it's not often that I show my real deepest of true colours about our great football club. And on Monday, I struggled a bit, you know, with what had gone on, what was going on in certain areas of our club, you know, and I had to say my things, and hopefully I didn't offend anybody. And obviously, I just love the older. We got a great load of young Arsenal fans coming through, right? I do worry about how the really young Arsenal fans are going to get into the club with the current situation with admission and ballots and whatever difficulties they have in getting tickets, and of course the financial difficulties of a dad bringing a couple of kids to the football. You know, I do think that that's probably driving some kids to support lower league clubs where their grounds are much more accessible. But as for the older fans, you know, we'll keep hammering away, won't we, for as long as we can. You know, my mate John Williamson, he's not been too good the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to go into details, but JW, you're one of the greatest Arsenal fans I have the pleasure of knowing, and I hope you get better very soon, mate. So, yeah, Ferg, have you anything to add, mate, or am I going to go on to the Arsenal game?
I think we should go on to the Arsenal game, otherwise we'll just get all, you know. And yeah. I've got about 7 minutes before my kebab turns up.
Yeah, well, looking at the size of your belly just now, you need to be keeping off them kebabs. You know what I mean? Get beans on toast for you. No butter on the bread either, and brown bread. So there you go, right? Beans on toast, kebabs. He spends all week moaning about me about his weight and how he feels overweight.
I don't.
And how he's struggling.
I don't care.
And he tells me he's having a big fat boy kebab for his cheek.
I haven't. You've had it from that kebab shop. They're very, very good. I'm having the
That don't mean you've got to eat them. Right, listen, Ferg. Right. Palace, there's you and me left here. Palace v Arsenal. We've beat them. Well, yeah, I suppose it was comfortably this week. We beat them 3-2. And Ketia scored an header like I've never saw him get anywhere near scoring for the Arsenal. I still remember him missing that one where he was on the line at Nottingham Forest in the cup game away at their place and still didn't get it in the back of the net. Oh, Eddie. Oh, come on. But anyway, Ferg, Palace v Arsenal tomorrow night, 5:30 kickoff. I can't go. I've let someone have my ticket. We've not had a Fergus break. I tell you what, Ferg, come on, have a break.
No. It's gone over the 42-minute mark. It's sealed up, honestly. Palace, seven London derbies. They've won 4. They've defeated in 4 and won 3. The last loss 2-0 against Fulham. Eddie did score against us on midweek. And you know what was really nice? I don't know if anybody saw the footage, but like some of the Arsenal coaching team were very complimentary of him and gave him some support as he was coming off the pitch after the game. We've lost just 2 of our 19 away games against Crystal Palace, winning 10, drawing 7, and we're unbeaten in 9 London derbies since the start of 2024. I can't see it changing. I think it might be tougher than we think. Palace is not the easiest place in the world to go to, but I'm still going for a 2-0 Arsenal win.
A 2-0 Arsenal win. Well, obviously, I'm going for an Arsenal win, Ferg, but I think it's going to be comfortable. I think it's going to be a comfortable one. I think after midweek, they put their almost their first team out. We put out, a team full of players that worried me a bit. I said it at the start of the show, and I'll say it again now. Now we've gone on to the Arsenal game. I'm over the moon. The fact that Jesus rammed my words up my backside from last week, over the moon, and long may he continue to do it. And I'll just repeat as well, for the sake of tonight, Sterling's crap. Sterling shouldn't be in the Arsenal side. Sterling can't score a goal for Sophie. What is Sterling doing at our club? Now, fingers crossed he'll go out there tomorrow and prove me wrong. Smash a hat-trick in just like Jesus did. Because although we get on these players occasionally, I still love them all. They wear the red shirt. And I know they go out there and they do their very best, Ferg, don't they?
Yeah, they do. You know what? Dan Potts asked me to do a bit of a quick 1-minute video or whatever about who I wanted in the transfer window. And I went, Dan, I don't know who plays for who all overseas. I concentrate on watching my Arsenal players. I don't know what Vlahovic is like and Isak and Osimhen, and I don't watch him a lot. So I just said to him that, the areas that I thought we needed strengthening. But I also did say at the end that we're suffering heavily from some missing players, especially in that defensive area that we built upon. Ben White is a huge miss for us. Ben White means Timber has to play in that area, or else we put Partey in that area, which is, for me, a tactically poor decision. I just think, they will give their all, but, we're playing with one hand behind our back sometimes. But we have to remember, we're used to playing twice a week. Palace aren't, and they played a hard game against us midweek, and they've got to go and play a hard game against us at theirs on Saturday evening.
Yeah. You see, Ferg, all this talking about who we'd like to get in and where we need to make replacements, I'm not shy of the fact that I think we need a striker, but I'm sort of taking the view now, or I've done recently, am I being disrespectful to what we've got when we keep on? And we don't want about it on this show, do we? Hey, up that's his big fat boy kebabs arrived.
I got to answer the door. 1 second.
Honestly, he don't order one little kebab. He orders these huge, great things, right? And he sits there and eats it all. And then he wonders why, right? He feels poorly the following morning, right? I'm really worried about him because the turnstiles at the Arsenal are not the biggest turnstiles in the world. And I saw him just struggle a little bit to get through last week. So I hope he's just cut down on the donometer a little bit. But going back to the Arsenal, right? I don't think that I feel now that I'm being a bit disrespectful to the players we've got if I keep on and on and on about who we want and who we don't want, So we've got what we've got. Jesus showed that he can still do it in the Premier League because that defence he scored against the other night was a Premier League defence, and he three really classy goals. So I'm happy with Jesus. That makes me interested now to think if he comes off the bench against Palace tomorrow, Jesus, he's not going to have in his head, Oh, I ain't scored for months. It's worrying. Will I score? Jesus is going to be coming on that field thinking, wow, I scored. I want more. I want more goals. So Jesus is going to be in a totally different frame of mind tomorrow. Look at him.
It's not even my kebab. It's Timu.
Kebab. It's not even his kebab.
I had to go all through the West Wing. I had to go through the West Wing, down the servants' quarters, and out to the.
It's his new Arsenal shirt from China. He orders XXXXXXL and still has to paint it on. It's that bad.
It's your microphone for when we do the things outside the Arsenal.
No. Oh God, that's a bit. Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, look, Ferg.
Anyway.
I think Arsenal are going to win 4-0. You think? What did you say? The Arsenal were going to win?
I went 2-0.
2-0. Dow's gone, so I'm going to say Dow said 7-0 to the Arsenal. All right, and Ferg, I'm about ready to. I don't know if you've got anything to add. It's been wonderful. Dow joined us when he was getting pressure from elsewhere, and he still came and joined us. Sophie came on here and has made me teary again, the madam. But Sophie's had a difficult year herself, you know. I hope next year, Sophie, is a much better one for you and your family. I honestly do. So with that, I'm going to shut up, let Ferg say his piece, then press the button.
I love it the way they turn out the music now and let the fans sing it and fill the stadium. I'm sorry but
they've nailed it.
Jackie's not well, so she couldn't even go down to the to answer the door. She's lying on in the bedroom full of flu, so hence why I had to run away. Otherwise, she would have answered the door. But yeah, it's been a great show. Really enjoyed it. As you said, it was nice to have Dale joining us. He got stuck in some traffic and then had pressures with family and friends. We've all got stuff going on at the minute, but we've taken the hour out. So thank you very much. And thank you, Sophie. And thank you, everybody who joined us in the chat. Lots of you in there. And we got 185 people watching on all platforms. If you do get a second, do go across to YouTube, like and subscribe. It does help us out. It does earn us about 2 or 3 pence a year.
Listen, Ferg, for anybody that only watches us on a Friday, why aren't you watching us on a Monday as well? No, seriously, anyone that only watches us on a Friday, if we don't see you Monday, have a lovely Christmas and a great New Year. I have loved this year on Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast. It's been amazing. Again, our viewing figures have gone through the roof. I was pulled to one side by a fellow podcaster the other night, a podcaster who I really respect, right? I really respect him greatly. And he said to me, do you know what you do is brilliant on there? He said, I wish we could do it like you do it. And that was the biggest compliment I've ever been paid. And he knows who he is. And I thank him for that. So if you're not going to see you on Monday, Merry Christmas and all the best.
We'll be back on Monday evening with Christmas jumpers, Trevor. For our Christmas special after the weekend. If we don't speak to people before Christmas, have a wonderful Christmas. Stay healthy, stay happy, be around the people you love, because that's the most important thing in the world. And up the Arsenal, but more importantly, fuck the Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.